All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 266 with Pawz. Pawz, how are we doing? It's been a minute.
Doing well. We were just saying it's been over 4 years somehow, so
Yeah,
actually insane.
that
Glad to be
is
back though.
that is crazy. It's good to have you back, man. Yeah, today actually marks actually I think it was yesterday technically that marks the 5 years of doing Sae Bae cast because I think the first one was
Holy,
December 5th with Jukebox Romeo, if you know who that is.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy how fast time's flying. Like half a decade of doing this, but it's good to have you, man. And huge congratulations on the 3 classic gatherers, 200 mil on your free to
Mhm.
play account, which is just such an insane feat. I mean, how many hours did that take?
It's hard to say. My estimation in terms of time played, probably 10,000. In terms of EHP, I think it's probably like 7K. But with the methods I did, the methods have changed over the years. I've been working on it for 9 years or so, or yeah, 9 years or so. I've been working on the gathering skills. So, yeah, things have changed over time. So, like I said, hard to say exactly, but
Yeah, that
10K
what?
is my estimate.
So, what was the hardest out of woodcutting, mining, or fishing for you?
uh, it's kind of okay. So, mining would probably be the correct answer, but also it's just kind of struggling with motivation with woodcutting. It's hard, thinking about like the way you decide to train each of your skills, or like the order I should say. You'd think like getting the hard skills out of the way would be the way to go, but if you've done like the hardest thing first and you've just got a bunch of easy stuff, it's like the stuff is boring. Like I just did this really difficult thing for many years, and now I've got to do this like AFK boring skill that's like super fast XP. I don't know, it's just not as appealing to me, at least.
I'm actually curious with like your mining because that was what I remember. I think probably I think it's the most iconic method for free to play, the like wilderness mining. I don't know if anything's changed
Yeah.
since then. The little auto retaliate with I believe.
Yeah, sure has. That
Okay,
method does not exist anymore. You cannot do it. So,
really? You just can't at
uh,
all. Like you just can't extract
well, so
resources from being under
so
attack, or
what they did was they added this sort of like anti-boxing mechanic in the wilderness. I don't really know if you remember this, but basically you cannot train like hunter, you can't train mining, you can't like do any action in the wilderness if you're under attack. And this is to stop people from bringing alts to box themselves and become invincible.
mm,
But the thing is, like, it was totally unnecessary for for mining. Like, who's boxing themselves with mining, and it already essentially was not a problem because basically you had to do damage in order for PKers to not attack you, like if you're boxing yourself. So you couldn't just keep hitting zeros over and over again. You'd have to like keep dealing damage to yourself. So it
oh,
wasn't an issue
interesting.
to begin with, but they decided to make that change at some point. No idea why.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting because I thought it was just I don't know the time frame of when that happened. I just remember at some point in the wilderness resource area and the members area, they made it so the boxing wasn't a thing. But I thought it was only like exclusively to that area because it was like I
yeah,
don't know,
you'd
a
think.
hotspot. And
Nope. Whole
interesting.
wilderness.
Okay,
Yep.
so what exactly happened then with mining? I mean, what was it like a
So
total fuck over for everybody else that was trying to mine? Because that was the most
well, it
efficient way.
basically it makes it really shitty right now. So what it is the best method is to you can technically do it still on a PvP world. For some reason, they didn't make that change in PvP worlds, but it's only the wilderness,
Hmm.
which doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so what you do is you'd go to the mining guild. There's a 4 rock iron spot in free to play over there that they added at some point, but you can do that, and you can use a love crossbow with the negative bonuses, and you can attack yourself on it all with those. You can, like I said, you can still do that method in that way, but the problem is we only have one PvP world in free to play, so that's not
Mm.
ideal if more than one person wants to do the method. There's also a lot of free to play Ironmen that utilize the PvP worlds because of the fact of how many bots are in the mining guild, which is a huge issue too. Pretty much every world is just flooded with bots 24/7 in the mining guild. and you can't mine iron at all. Essentially, I don't really know how people are currently training mining. There's a few free to play players that are. But another option people have been using is having an alt run them cakes in order to 3-tick.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I personally would never do that. So I'm glad I got it out of the way with the method I did. There's a whole lot of cake running in free to play meta currently, and I think it really sucks that we're at that point. But I'm past the gatherer, so not my problem.
God damn it! Yeah, that is awful. I need to. I don't remember our exact conversation from 4 years ago. I'm sure we'll probably hit on some of the same topics we touched on back then. But what are your overall thoughts on the evolution of tick manipulation when it comes to free to play? Because it feels like most of the really, really dedicated free-to-play players really don't want any changes happening. In fact, like they like the quirky, super clunky metas that have sort of just emerged. But I'm always wondering, like, would it be the end of the world if Knife Log came out? Like, just classic sort of Knife Log. I think there is some way to Knife Log, but it's just 4-tick. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a leather crafting. Yep.
Okay.
That is an option as well. Yeah,
but you can always have to click spacebar, right?
Yeah, that is a downside to it, obviously. There's also like using an empty short bow and attacking something will create a 4-tick action as well. But yeah.
Okay.
So your question was like, what is my opinion on like how tick manipulation has evolved? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and sort of where you draw the line. Like, would you be okay if all of a sudden they did come out with something like that? But generally speaking as well, like how you've seen the sort of evolution, because it really feels like it's just been these weird emergent things like reindeer hats and snow globes and whatever the hell else.
So to start off with your question, I'll answer if something were to come out first. My opinion has my kind of overall opinion on the subject has changed probably pretty drastically since the last podcast that we did. I've kind of accepted that this game is going to change. I'm not like holding on to the game needs to stay feeling old school at this point, because we're far past that in my opinion, and this is just kind of a different game. I still find it enjoyable. It's just I have to accept it's not the same game. So I don't care. There's a lot of free-to-play players out there that would love for us to get some sort of 3-tick item. A common suggestion is there's actually the hard leather body option, and that would be a 3-tick action, but for some reason they coded it weird. It's basically like, I don't know, they coded it completely different than any other crafting item, but you normally would be able to 3-tick because there is no interface in free-to-play. You can only make one hard leather item, so it automatically makes that item without an interface, like if you've just got one of them in your inventory. I mean, if you're following that,
I know. I mean, with any of, well, for those that are listening and aren't following, just if you try to make anything with normal soft leather, you're gonna have like 7 different options of things you can make. But hard leather is always just the body, so makes sense.
Right. That the normal leather like stalls the tick, I think, because of the interface. I think. But yeah, so that is an option. Like if they were to like change hard leather to be like how it's actually supposed to be coded, then that would make it possible. But I wouldn't mind it, obviously. And as for the evolution of tick manipulation over time, it kind of it's going downhill at this point, in my opinion. It was going up, like the overall way that skilling was done in free to play was going great. I would say probably up until like forestry happened. It is a good example. We kept discovering new things over and over again. I guess also the evolution of plugins coming into the game that have kind of ruined certain methods. So yeah, like obviously you got snow. I was always a big fan of that. I know not a lot of people are, but I enjoyed that quite heavily. And then you got the auto retaliation that people discovered, and that influenced a few methods here and there. We had a method, I think it kind of peaked at something called 2.6 tick willows. This was kind of a very involved, kind of reactive heavy method where you'd have to kind of react to trees falling down, and you'd be using a rat to it's kind of a hard method to describe, but I'll do my best here. You'd be retaliating to this rat while also using snow, and you'd be doing a 2-tick action once, and then 2 3-tick actions. So then it's a 2.6 tick willow woodcutting cycle.
It's such a
Apologies
throwback
to people
hearing.
listening, but
No. Hearing like this is the kind of stuff that my YouTube like originated with. I mean, I would just come out with like, these really silly methods. I think I still have like the 2.67 cave slime or whatever the hell I was fishing in Lumbridge caves or something. But like those discoveries is what makes like the game so fun. It feels like we've kind of ran out of discoveries, but it's still, even to this day, like we will find little things with any little game update or whatever else.
Yeah.
So was that like overly complex? Like, was that worth doing ultimately, or was it just kind of a gimmick?
So I think you could probably max out normal 3-tick woodcutting at probably like 85K an hour. I don't remember exactly, but just with like snow. And then once you start to get into 2.6, we kind of optimized it to the point where we could just scrape 100K an hour. So it was worth doing if you're really trying to be sweaty about it. Obviously there's just AFK woodcutting, and but some of us like to compete and try for the best woodcutting hour, and that was something I found enjoyable. So I think one person who was a mobile only player at the time, he doesn't play much anymore, but shout out Ben3143. He played mobile only, and he did a woodcutting hour that nobody could beat, which is actually ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh my
I don't remember what it was exactly, but he did like 103 or 104K or something crazy like that.
That is
very skilled.
That is crazy. Mobile. I don't know if you play mobile often. Do you?
I've logged in occasionally to see what it's like every now and then, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's I think what makes mobile the worst, because mobile actually has it's evolved quite nicely. I will say, like, there's some nice stuff with it, but man, as soon as you're on some bad Wi-Fi on mobile, it's unbearable. It is so bad. So that's impressive, to say the least.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm always wondering. It feels like I'm never able to actually give my say when it comes to free to play, because I just don't play it. I'll respect those players that are playing free to play, and I'll absolutely like. I would love it if the people that truly are dedicated to free to play have full control over what free to play becomes ultimately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've always wondered. I'm like, would it be the end of the world if free to play was given, I don't know, just the ability to, for example, like the hard leather body, if that could actually just do a 3-tick? Do you think if that were to just come out one day, there would be some upheaval or anything? Like, because
absolutely not. No.
It would delete like those classic sorts of methods. Now the 2.6 obviously I think would stay, but it would be easier because you could just have the rat. You wouldn't have to deal with the snow.
Right.
And I just wonder, like, would that sort of make things too easy? Like, would it just change things too much? Or is pretty much everybody on board at this point?
So it's kind of hard to say. So it wouldn't actually affect that much, I would say. I think mining would be the biggest change, but it would just make it less annoying. You wouldn't have to use a cake alt, which is absolutely stupid. The best fishing method, what you would do is you'd be cooking the fish you catch simultaneously and eating them to 3 ticks. So you've already got that. And you'd also, so normally what you would do as well is you would use snow when you wouldn't catch a fish to continue the 3-tick action. So what that would do is it would just make it like a little bit less complicated to do that method. Woodcutting wouldn't affect it at all. We have 2-tick oaks, which there's nothing you could 3-tick that would be better than 2-tick oaks. It's the meta. It's about 115K an hour now.
Okay.
So that, yeah, one thing I want to mention about that was which recent news as well is 2-tick oaks with plugins kind of became this spam click like Knight's skill basically. There's a plugin that they actually just removed. Jagex decided that it was too OP. It had something to do with sailing, I think, is what I heard. But they got rid of it. Jagex said no more of this. Basically what it did was you could remove your inventory. So you could just spam click the same spot over and over again, and you would just perfectly 2-tick, and you wouldn't even have to look at your screen, which made the skill like totally dumb. Like, so I'm
Yeah.
pretty happy that they did that.
How did that work exactly? You're saying it got rid of your inventory. What does that do to make it so you're always 2-ticking?
You can see every item in your inventory, but you can click through it basically. So you're dropping, like, a log comes in your inventory, you automatically drop it because you're spam clicking, and there you can position the
But
trees
if there
right
is
behind
no
your
item, you can
inventory.
click through it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you just click through it. Yeah. So you're constantly perfectly 2-ticking. You don't even have to like pay attention to any cycle. You just have to keep spam clicking, and you would perfectly 2-tick without messing
Wait,
up.
I don't understand the ability to spam click it though. Wouldn't you still have to be in a tick timing?
Oh yeah, yeah. You got to get the rats set up and all that, but once they're set up,
No. But I mean like the actual like I'm lost where you can spam click it, because wouldn't spam clicking ultimately mean you're not going to retaliate with the rat, or is it somehow just blocking the ability to click for a full tick? Is that what it's doing? Like I don't understand.
so yeah. So once you drop the oak log, then it cancels the action, and then you're gonna automatically get hit by that rat, which starts the next 2-tick action, and you're already spam clicking, so you're clicking the tree immediately.
But can't you drop the log, which would initiate you retaliating to the rat? But couldn't you in the same tick have dropped the log and spam clicked so fast that you're back on the tree without retaliating? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like how does
What
that
you're saying
work?
makes sense,
Yeah.
but trust me, it does what I'm saying.
Okay,
I don't really know.
Interesting. I believe
So
it.
I
No,
know
I
things,
haven't seen
but
it. So
sometimes I don't know the deeper mechanics. I mean, that's not that deep, but
yeah.
sometimes I can't quite follow things. So it's
I
okay.
mean, regardless, I mean, if you had just a little bit of skill in you, and even if it wasn't just spam clicking, the fact that it is spam clicking is sad. But I was thinking if it was just something where you had to maintain like a 1-tick rhythm accurately, I think even that would be kind of, I don't know. Actually, that would actually be sort of heartbreaking in a way. Like if you had to perfectly do this 1-tick and it was just like you could just do it blind, I'd almost be like, maybe keep it. But now that makes sense that they would have to patch that, and I'm sure majority of the players or free to play players thought that was all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone was abusing it because they knew it was probably going to get
I
taken
see.
away. So,
Do you,
but yeah.
this actually might have been something we did talk about on our first episode, back when you could like auto cast with airstrike or something and just 2-tick literally fucking everything in game for like a week.
Yeah. Yep.
That
was crazy.
I was thinking about like the implications of something like that. Like if they were to come out right now with an item that could just 2-tick randomly, just with, I don't know, clicking once, and you could just start sort of 2-ticking everything. I wonder if we're at the point in the game where that would be seen as like game breaking, or if if it was in the game for long enough and people didn't really discover it immediately, if they would just eventually keep it. Because sometimes I wonder about the integrity of like XP rates. It feels, and maybe I'm a bit jaded at this point, but it feels like, and sort of what you were hinting at earlier, where like the game is just ever evolving. You just kind of have to accept that the game is changing and it's way different than it used to be. But I just wonder at what point would players just really stop caring about, I don't know, some random method becoming 20 or 30% better just overnight, and then we're like, well, whatever, pretty much all of us are maxed anyway, or pretty much all.
I feel like that's exactly how people are going to react. I think nobody, high level players might be a little upset, but the rest of the game wouldn't even do it, because like everyone just wants to AFK, so like no one's going to care if you can 2-tick anything. No one's going to care at all. So I don't think anyone would mind if that just came out, honestly.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
It's interesting. I mean, I think I like the. I remember doing like a 2-tick Karambwan, because I know Karambwans have always been used potentially in like some interesting barbarian fishing methods and stuff, where you'll like trade an alt and get some Karambwans and be able to 2-tick the spot, which is kind of cool. But I've always thought like if there was some sort of cost to a 2-ticking item in your inventory, maybe even like an item that sort of has a cooldown. So for example, I don't want to slide into this right now, but like, let's just say there was also like a gnome cube type thing. I'm certain you've heard that. But if it was just like a one-click thing, not like it's necessary, but I'm just imagining in a perfect world, you would have like just a basic 3-tick starter, but then you'd have a 2-tick starter that maybe has some sort of up. I don't know, maybe like some sort of charging system, or maybe like a cooldown where you can occasionally use it. So, and I actually think that would add some kind of cool emergence where, like, if you are paying close enough attention and you're doing some classic 3-tick cycle, maybe you have like a 2-tick starter that only can be used every like 10 or 20 seconds. So as long as you're paying attention, you can kind of squeeze in that extra 2-tick little cycle. But I always wonder, like, is that just like too much, or is that like breaking the game too much, or just becoming too, I don't know, planned almost in a way?
Yeah, it does. I was about to say it does seem like pretty artificial. But like at the same time, like this game, everything that comes out is just artificial. Nothing feels natural. It's just kind of updates that change the game, in my opinion. And I don't think people would care if that came out. They could even just add something that makes you 2-tick as long as you're clicking it. I don't think anyone would care, honestly.
What would you differentiate between quote unquote masochistic skilling and skilling today? I need to jump into this because I have a few thoughts as well. Yeah, go for it.
I think I was listening to you. Maybe were you talking about this on one of your podcasts? I was thinking about it, and I couldn't remember where I heard it, but I feel like
it's probably me. Yeah, if I've used that term a lot when it comes to skilling, and just beyond skilling, even just the idea that like masochism is what makes a skill respectable or something. Like how painful can this be? And that's like what's earning players' respect for you.
So okay, what this comes down to is, initially, I just want to say, so the game fundamentally has changed where skilling isn't something someone chooses to do. It's something that you have to do it because it unlocks content that they come out with. So skilling isn't just this thing where you can choose whether or not to get a 99 or continue on past that for whatever reason. Like, there are things in the game that are unlocked because of skilling. So the way they've decided to update the game is to make it accessible for everybody. So I think masochistic skilling, so to speak, I don't consider this. Like, even like the most ridiculous methods that are click intensive and just annoying to train, maybe, I think provide a sense of accomplishment beyond what something you can like AFK can do. I feel almost nothing getting a 200 mil. Like, woodcutting felt like, I don't know, it was not at all interesting to me, and getting 200 mil didn't really feel like anything other than the fact that I completed like the gathering skills, so to speak. I think something like mining was so much harder because there were 0 options to AFK. You had to keep clicking at all times in order to gain XP. And I think that is so much more, that feels so much better getting a 200 mil in a skill like that than something like you can just AFK all day at work. I think it's literally all the game is at that point is just a time sink, like just putting in as much time as possible, which is essentially what it is. I do, there is some sense of achievement in that. At the same time, is like, yeah, I've spent 20,000 hours playing this game or whatever I'm at, which is fun to think about, I guess. But at the same time, like, I understand where the game is. Like, they had to do this because, like I said, they've added so many things in the game that are just locked behind doing things. Like, you have to get a max cape even for the sake of convenience if you want everything to be as optimized as possible, which is not. I think if I were to change the game the way I want it, I don't think they should have added any sort of like incentive to doing skilling. Really, I think it should have just stayed an option for people that want to train it. If you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think for the most part I agree. I try because I fall in line with that view with so many things. I don't like how the game feels very, very much like a sort of set journey these days. Like when you see a person make a new Iron Man, it's like do this, do this, do this, and then
Yeah,
even
100%.
for like the players that have quote unquote completed the game, they have max and everything. There's also just like a cookie cutter list of like do your Grandmaster achievements and then you get perks for that.
Yeah.
And if you don't have your Zuck helm, then you're being inefficient. It's like there's all these little things that you need to stay up to date with. Whereas if you look way back in the beginning of old school, it was like do whatever the hell you want, and there was nothing
It was
that's
a
like
sandbox.
and there wasn't something where like you need to grind an achievement diary, like the full achievement diary, in order to get a blessing that's going to help you get more fish or something. Like it was just you could just be a master of one skill, and there wasn't like a bunch of other list of things you needed. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to have it my way, I don't even think like I hate like skill capes. Even like people always are like, do you want skill capes in free to play? I'd say absolutely not. Even if it had no bonuses, no perks, like just the fact that there's a incentive to do something, like to skill specifically, then I don't think it should exist. I think skilling is so much nicer when it's like I said, like a sandbox rather than this like linear progression that they're aiming for all the time.
Let me ask you this though, on the topic of skill capes. If you knew for an absolute fact that there would be no slippery slope of there eventually becoming, because like for me, I think one of the worries of introducing skill capes to like free to play is eventually people will be like, why don't we have the perks too? Like give us the perks.
Exactly.
But do you feel like, or in a world where that would never happen, like you could absolutely be guaranteed that there would never be a slippery slope of any kind and you would just get a skill cape, then would you be okay with it? Is it simply no, don't give any possible reason to enjoy this outside of just the grind itself?
Yes. Yeah, okay. That's exactly my opinion on that. You reminded me though of like slippery slopes, the whole like stacking clues on the ground for an hour, and like I feel like that's going to even evolve into just like they're going to give in and just say like, yeah, you can just have infinite clues in your inventory. Like I feel like that's where this is headed after they've come out with this scroll box update and all that. I feel like that's where it's going. Sorry to change the topic, but
it is very possible that does happen. I feel like they've very much tried to hold the line on some things, but we see it time and time again where like something comes out and we're like, just give us the whole thing, like just give us everything we want, and then eventually there's
like you've already done
pressure.
It basically,
so
keep going because this is stupid.
Like one of the worries I have, and I also want to, I guess, give a little bit of grace to like the other side. So for example, Max Cape, even though I could see the negatives of introducing something like a Max Cape or even Skill Cape perks, I do understand that there's always some sort of balance between the pros and cons of introducing something like that. And I actually think there are quite a few pros to having some system like that, because ultimately it is a video game and it's like, why not be rewarded with some cool stuff, And so I think there always is a little bit of like the pro side where it's like there is something being added to the game, but then you see all the consequences where as soon as there is an incentive to get this Max Cape, all of skilling will get devalued now. You just know it. Like it will become easier. Everything's going to get easier because everyone's going to want this. And look now, I mean, I actually saw a Reddit post this morning that was talking about sailing and sort of talking about how everybody feels like they deserve to just get 99s and everything now. Like it's almost like the expectations, like you can't just stop at 70 or you can't just stop at 80. It's like, no, everybody must get 99. Like that is the objective now for everybody, which is so bizarre because back in the early days, getting a 99 was seen as what the fuck? Like that's insane.
Yeah, it's like, why would you do that? What's the point?
Exactly. So it's weird how far we've come.
Yeah. Everything they're trying to make everything is accessible to everyone, like all the time. Like if you don't have time to play RuneScape, they want you to still feel like you're accomplishing something, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is like the money that's involved. Like for example, sailing right now has dropped. I don't know if you've touched sailing at all. Have you?
No, but no.
have you watched any bit of it? Like, do you generally know what's happening? Like, just with
barely. I watched a little bit of Hebox's streams, not really sure what's happening, and then I also watched like Rendy's video where he like carries a crate.
Yeah, I just watched that actually today.
That's all I've seen of sailing.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much there's like 4 main methods. There's like salvaging, and then there's port tasks, which is Uber Eats going around and just delivering stuff, and then there's Barracuda trials, which is what Hebox has been doing nonstop. Which it's so funny with Hebox because his intention with sailing was to grind 200 mil sailing while just doing like a tick manipulation salvage method the whole time. And then he got really annoyed with the fact that Barracuda trials was better. But now you see him deeply enjoying Barracuda trials, and he's like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I do like that there is this kind of variety of methods. But what we see now is like a lot of people just resort to salvaging, and what it ends up being is like you can just AFK, which by the way, the AFK timer, I think it up to 30 minutes randomly. It was 25, I swear to God, and now I see on the plugin it's 30. So like, when's that going to just be an hour or 6 hours?
Make it 6 hours at this point. Seriously, why keep increasing it like this?
I don't even remember when it was increased to 30 minutes, but now it's 30 minutes. And like, there is a salvaging method that, at least in the first 2 weeks, it was really OP. It's less OP now, but like, still, I mean, you can just have your guys that are your crewmate. You hire these NPC crewmates to do everything for you, and you can just sit there for genuinely a half hour of just
oh my God,
having your storage load up. Which, here's the thing, like going back to what I was saying, is like, it's money. It's like, how can Jagex secure more players that will lead to more investors, that'll lead to this? It's like, you just need you need man hours, you need people logged in. So how can we do that? We got to add some sort of ability to stay logged in for half an hour, not 5 minutes.
There is for sure some underlying intentions going into how the game is updated, for sure. Like some pressure being put on somebody somewhere in there.
The thing is I wonder how much of this, because like sometimes I'll see this as this is a consequence of this like game being out for this long and everything's getting easier and easier. But then I'm like, dude, back in 2014, people were AFKing for 6 fucking hours doing Guthans. And I've talked to ex Mod Matt K, and he was saying like they intentionally left it in the game because the game was dying, and they realized what players really want is to be able to just kind of freely have a really pimped out combat account that can just start bossing pretty much. And it's like,
I understand that perspective as well. Like, I get it on their end. I just like want a pure game to an extent. I know I can't have it, but it's I don't know. At least we have free to play. I just hope they don't mess with it too much.
Let me ask you about free to play then. Is there any update you desperately want to see that maybe is unpopular, or something that would actually be quite game changing for free to play, but you think it would be ultimately like more fun or just a better experience? What do you have any ideas of like updates you would want to see if you could basically have anything you want?
I would love for them to do something about the bot situation. I know I'm not like naive and say just like, obviously just get rid of the bots, but just something in the game that could allow people to train skills in a way that they didn't have to compete with bots. I don't know if you watched that concept video I put together. I did a little Sae Bae there and came up with game idea, update idea. So
I might have missed it.
Okay, it's okay, but we'll get into that later. But basically, I have a few things in mind, like nothing entirely game changing, but there's just a few small things, like the fact they removed LMS. I've probably talked about this at nauseum if any of my viewers are listening, but they removed LMS for free to play. Well, I mean, you can still play, you just can't obtain rewards from it anymore. So that's a major issue. You can't do competitive. And then also like that mining method, I think that's absolutely stupid that they removed that. But as for the game as a whole, free to play as a whole, it's pretty good. I mean, I'd have them remove forestry for sure. That's like probably the worst update we've ever gotten. Which is it's not to think about it that way, it's not a bad thing. Like that is the worst update. There
That's
hasn't
a
really
good
been
point.
anything
Yeah.
like nearly as bad. So um I don't know. I probably don't have too interesting of an answer. It would just be a lot of like small changes that's nothing crazy in my perspective. So
What they do, I'm just going to offer one suggestion. I want to hear your thoughts on
yeah.
it. What was one of the things they do nowadays when they introduce like Varlamore, for example, or any sort of new area? They'll intentionally put skilling methods that are efficient there. So like they'll always intentionally put like a 3 iron rock somewhere close to like a bank or something. Or,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
And they do these very intentional things to make it so there is some variety in the metas of things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the meta of something, but something like, again, iron ore, which is not the meta for members, but they want to map it out in a way that's like, oh, this is another convenient spot we can go to. So I wonder, in free to play, you know, there is always just going to be the one spot that is the meta, and the second best spot is just garbage compared to it, basically.
Yeah.
And I wonder, do you think it would be an okay thing for them to sort of do just a little bit of tweaking around the world where like, okay, here's a 3 or 4 iron spot. We can add one over here that's going to be basically just as efficient, but at least it's now opening up another just area, even pretty close to the area that is the meta already. Like, I just wonder, like, would you be okay with that? Or are you very pure where it's like, nope, this is the game. It has to be like this until the end of time. Rocks can't move and stuff. Or do you think for the good of the game, maybe there could be some wiggle room to add little spots, just almost just to help with the botting situation?
Yeah.
Where there's just so much flooding of areas.
I'd be totally okay with that. The nice thing about like the wilderness spot was bots. You would never see a single bot there. Like, why would a bot be botting in the wilderness? There's no banks around or anything, so it was kind of perfect for that. And I think if they just added a bunch more around the game, I wouldn't care at all, because it's like no one's gonna care. There's not like, there may be like 1 or 2 purists out there, but like the game, like I said, I think the purists are even dying out because the game is like unrecognizable at this point. It's not that like updates to the game, like things that have been added, are changing it that drastically. It's more of the underlying game mechanics changing to an extent, and as well as like the factor of plugins and other additions like that make the game very, very easy. And I don't think anyone would care, like in free to play, if they just started adding more resource spots, for sure.
Okay.
It might increase bots in those areas, but I don't really know. Depends on how they do it.
Yeah. What another thing is, I don't know how many total worlds there are. Are total worlds usually bot free, or are those still just flooded?
So actually, I do remember somebody in Discord posted like a couple weeks ago, actually. Apparently bots have figured out that they should get 500 total to join the 500 total worlds, and Hell Giants for Iron Men are absolutely terrible on those worlds now. There's like 50 bots in each Hell Giant spot. So
God damn it.
Yeah. But the 751 seem to be okay for the most part. But you still got a lot of competition, because free to play Iron Man is a very popular game mode. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
I'm not at all. I'm shocked to hear that, actually.
It might have to do with, like, I don't know, Verf and Automelogy and whoever else uploaded free to play Iron Man videos, but there is a quite substantial free to play Iron Man community out there that are all competing with the same exact resource spots, because they're the most efficient spots to go to on all the total level worlds. So it's not ideal, but
interesting. I wonder what they could do with it, because there is very, very little incentive to be mass clearing bots on free to play worlds, because they could just go right back in, no credit card required, just send it. The other question I had was just when it comes to potentially, I don't know if this will ever happen at this point. I still have some sort of hope, but just rebalancing of rocks in general. So for example, the fact that iron is just going to be the meta when it comes to XP per hour, and it's really fucking good on members as well. unless you're going to be doing like some 3-tick, granite or whatever else. I mean, there's plenty of methods that are better than that, but like, I just wonder when it comes to ores above iron, is there any room for those to truly be rebalanced to the point where like mining mithril or mining coal or mining adamant become somewhat viable, where like, okay, now that we've drastically reduced respawn rates, we've increased success chance of actually obtaining the ore, and maybe even gold as well. Like, do you feel like there's any room to do those sorts of rebalancing, or would it kind of break these metas that are pretty set in stone and you wouldn't want to see that change?
I think I wouldn't like that, just because it would change the way the skill is trained in a way. Like, say say coal is better, you just mine coal in the mining guild and get faster XP or something like that. I wouldn't like that, but I think something that this brings to mind is, I think you've talked about this in your videos quite a bit, is how like Iron Man mode is this thing where you don't really go and collect resources. If you want resources, you just go kill monsters or whatever. I think a rebalance in a way of like making it so collecting resources was the fastest way to get those resources would be fantastic for the game. I would be 100% for that. I don't think I'd want it for like XP rates to be better, but I kind of just prefer our traditional iron mining methods to gain the best XP personally. But I think there's room in the game for them doing something along those lines. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't imagine, mithril mining becoming better than iron, but I want it to at least be somewhat viable. Like the fact that you mining adamant is just so bad, it's so pitiful that it just never, ever will anybody ever do that. It just feels imbalanced.
Yeah, 100%. I think the way the Gower brothers intentionally put these things into the game was that these, you're mining these slowly, and that's the only way they can come into the game. Therefore, they are worth mining because you have to have a high mining level. You have to sit there forever to mine these rocks, and they've got an underlying high alch value that is attached to all these this equipment that you can smith, and that also requires a high smithing level that's hard to get to. So therefore, it's valuable to mine those things. But the game has changed in such a way where it is like dumped into the game at an insane capacity, so they don't seem to worth it to us anymore. Like we don't understand that because the game has changed so much.
In my head, I'm just thinking how silly. I think I need to make sure this is actually accurate, but I'm pretty sure. I'm just looking up the Duke drop table right now. Like all the DT2 bosses, like just drop a shit ton of Addy ore, and let me just see.
The only reason any of these things retain any value is because of the high alch value. That's the only reason. So
yeah, I'm looking here. 112 adamant ore for 1 kill. By the way, you can kill Duke in like 40 seconds.
Holy.
So you're getting 112 noted for the time it takes to maybe mine 2, like classically, and you get no XP basically, and just it is insane. You're totally right though. Like that's a great way to sort of explain that these things actually used to be quite balanced, but it's just the fact that so many updates have come into the game without the broad overview of all the consequences to doing updates with crazy loot.
I really admire the Gower brothers for putting the amount of thought they did into the game. You can clearly, if you just think about the progression of the game, like in terms of levels, in terms of the way resources come into the game, all that sort of stuff, all the details, it's very well thought out. And I obviously it's hard for us to judge the J mods that are currently there and say you should be thinking about the game this much, because I don't know, it's hard in terms of I don't really know what they're getting paid and all that, but what incentive do they have to do those things other than if they're just incredibly passionate about the game, maybe, but you can't expect that of every employee at Jagex. You can't. And I understand.
And there's also we have built a system now where we listen to the community. This is a community run game, so
Yeah.
any sort of JMod that really is taking the game and the philosophy of like the Gowers and they're trying to keep that intact. Like they're just going to be so unpopular because they're going to be trying to
Yeah.
be
100%.
maintaining
People don't
this.
understand.
Yeah, and it's like the community is just so evolved now where we're just like I think the majority of us, I'm throwing myself in there a little bit, just a little degree, just because I feel like there's a part of me that still wants, there's still like a deep part of me that wants this sort of classic old school experience. And I think that's still part of the reason why I would actually be okay with some like old school coming out that is just with the promise that it's like not touched at all. But I think at the same time, I can recognize how fun the game can be if you just let go of the feeling of like this needs to be a certain way, or like the old school feel is not there anymore. And I think just releasing that, it's like, okay, like the game is what it is, and try to just appreciate it. And there are a lot of things to appreciate, even though it is so much different than the old school we were used to.
There are definitely like positives about both aspects for sure. But yeah, you just got to take it as it is. Can't do anything about it really.
Let me ask, did you ever play Brighter Shores?
I did not, no.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I feel like that's Andrew Gower's baby, of like putting it exactly like it. What's so disappointing, kind of, is the fact that like his game is not popping off. Like it actually is. Like it kind of breaks my heart just a little bit. But I've heard just too many things about like the issues with the game and how incredibly clunky it is, and like that could have worked 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But these days it's like we have, I mean, even logging into this game, I think maybe you, among a few other handfuls of players, are among the exceptions. But like, I feel like if anybody had to log into a vanilla client, I'm talking like the classic launcher, and play that, like it would be very difficult to enjoy this game with zero plugins. I think that's just what happens over time. You just get all these luxuries and you get used to them. So, because
for sure.
I don't know who it was I was talking to on the cast just a bit ago who actually still plays Brighter Shores, and they say, there's just like 100 or a couple hundred players online at a time. It's just like the game is dead. It's just very dead, and it's just kind of sad. And you played 2004 Scape. What, I don't know exactly all that happened to that. I mean, it's a private server that got pretty popular. I never played it at all, but I was definitely watching some people that were playing it. What was your extent with playing that?
I'm kind of getting back into it now. I'm just also still playing free to play only on it. They've got one free to play world you can play on, so limiting myself there. But it's the game in its purest form. The way I see it is it's the game at its like absolute baseline. RuneScape 2, you don't have like any of the luxuries of make all, even make X, and many different like crafting skill or like fletching or a bunch of things. Everything is just like a lot of like use one item on this thing, you make it, and that you can't make all, you can't do it, anything like that. It's actually crazy. But
interesting.
The reason I like it so much is it does bring me back to the classic feeling of playing old school. But it's, I don't know, it's to me, I'm just happy that it exists. It solidifies this point in time that was previously lost. So I find that to be really awesome, that there are people that are dedicating their time to like perfecting this moment in time in the game. I guess you could say it that way. And I just, I don't know. I don't really know what my future is with it. I'm currently just kind of casually playing it. I don't really have any huge plans with it, but I like it as that. I like it for its nostalgia factor for sure. Yeah.
In your opinion, go for it.
Sorry. Did you have anyone on the cast that has talked about this before, out of curiosity?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who. It's been several months at least.
It was probably
maybe.
like before it even came out, I would assume, probably.
I would have to just go. I'd have to just look at the list of guests I've had on, because I know I have
Yeah.
talked about this with some people, and I remember I briefly started talking about it with a J mod. Who was it? It must have been Mod Knox or some. Was it Mod Knox? Maybe it was somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, let's just cut that out. I can't talk about this as a J mod."
That's
And I'm like,
hilarious.
"That
That's
makes
funny.
it." Might not have been Mod
Yeah.
Knox. It might have
Someone,
been a
yeah.
different mod, but one of the, I mean, I would, as much as I would love to experience that. One, there's too much. There's too many like inconveniences with the game. It feels like I think I was watching Mudkip, and Mudkip was playing a lot of 2004 Escape, and some of the things he would show me, it almost like depresses me with how like clunky it really is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love the atmosphere of that sort of time period and the fact that like it won't change. And so in my head, like I love the idea of playing it, but the fact that it's not officially ran makes me uncomfortable. Like, what if all my progress is deleted randomly? Like, I don't want to.
Right.
Like that feels shitty to feel a little bit of like, I don't know, just not trusting potentially like how long this really lasts. I mean, just the fact that there's one free to play world, like that could just be shut down at any point.
Yeah. Well, so how it works actually is they have the files, like, so if you make an account, you make progress, and then let's say one day Jagex decides to shut them down, they still will have your account files, and you can still download the game and play it on your own computer, even if there's no servers for it, and you can continue with your account progress. You can even host your own server. Yeah, everything is totally open source, so you could even host your own server and have your friends play with you on the same world and all that.
Interesting.
It's all like downloadable basically. So
I've always wondered what it would be like to play a fully like with the modern game, a fully offline experience with it, where like one of the most beautiful things about that would be no server lag whatsoever. Like you have zero ping, everything's perfect. Man, that would be a glorious experience. But I don't think many of us would go as hard on the game if it was just like a solo experience. I think it's just too much about the online aspect. I wanted to ask actually, what is or was your favorite sort of time period of RuneScape? I mean, we have the 2004 Escape experience, but was there a particular year that was just the best for you in memory?
So I started the game in 2006. I believe it was 2006, but I don't know. That's a hard question. I think my favorite time playing the game was probably like, I mean, it's got to be just like old school, because that's what I'm used to at this point. Just 2007, that era. 2016 was probably my 2016 and 2017 was probably my favorite times playing this game. So whatever version of the game you'd consider that I would say that is. 2004 is nice. Like you said, it's clunky, but I think that gives it character. It's easy for us to say, oh, this is too difficult. Like using items one at a time on everything it's too difficult, because we are familiar with all of the additions to the game. But if this is all you had, like, you wouldn't even think anything of it. You just think this is how it's trained, So that's my point of view on that.
That makes sense. Would you want an old school to come into the game officially run by or hosted by Jagex?
Oh, absolutely. Like I wish they would do that. Either that, or even just, I feel like if Jagex reached out to the developers of 04, that they would 100% just give it to them. If they were like, here, like, I mean, the motivation that the developers of 04 Escape have is that they want to continue to update this live server for the purpose of preservation, rather than like just hosting a private server. That's not their intention. They want like these things to exist so that people in the future can like go back and play this, because it's currently lost. Like the game is just constantly updated, so therefore every time the game gets updated, a part of history is lost essentially. So that's their intention there.
How many years had they been working on the 2004? I mean, it sounds like they're continuously working on it too, but like how many years did they spend? recovering everything.
Before it came out, I think it was like March, February. I can't remember exactly of this year it came out. But before that, I think at least 2 or 3 years they'd been working on it. Yeah.
Wow.
They've got a pretty small team. It's probably like less than a dozen, I would say. But yeah.
Interesting. I always, whenever I think of an old school, I think of preferably a 2007 scape. So like the launch of 2013, but preferably with God Wars dungeon, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's something just iconic enough to include God Wars.
That's so hard. I agree. But it is so hard to like say we should have this and we shouldn't have this at the same time. Like as soon as you like push that line, then it could go anywhere.
It totally. Yeah, no, I think,
like same
I think
with
to
bugs.
myself. Yeah.
Like bugs in the game at the time. Like they updated the game like as soon as it came out because like there was like issues with like was there like something with Slug Menace or something? I don't remember. Like it was like game breaking.
I don't remember. Yeah, I wasn't playing that. I just remember there were so many. So the way I would want old school is everything. This is probably, you're probably not going to agree with this, but let me just share why I think this, and I'll hear your take on it. But I would love it if we had some version, and again, it's like, where do you draw the line? I guess wherever, but sometime within the first year-ish of old school, I think one of the things I actually wouldn't want is like rooftops. I actually think like getting rid of rooftops might actually be cooler, but also keeping God 100%. Wars, because I think rooftops came out right before God Wars, maybe, or whenever that. Yeah. I don't exactly remember all the timelines, but that aside, I would love a game that has all the quality of life that we enjoy, but has the content of 2013 or whenever old school, so wherever we draw the line.
Yeah. Would you want like RuneLight then? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Oh, no. So simply, the thing I want most, the thing I want to extract most out of an old school is the content itself. So I want something that is just like a time capsule that will never change. So the promise of it is that there will never be any content updates. There will be bug fixes. There will be endlessly, like, we will endlessly have new plugins because RuneLight exists. But the fact is like, as soon as you have the plugins for that, the fact that no new content's coming out means it's pretty much going to be pretty tame, I think. But I do like the bank features, and I like the fact that you can right click, walk here, and then move your camera, and still you're walking on that tile. Like that, I want everything that we have now, all the bug fixes that we experience now, but I just want the content to be guaranteed to never change. So it's like, that is all you'll ever get.
That's interesting.
All XP rates basically maintain through the end of time.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that would be just a really cool experience to just guarantee that this experience will never be devalued. But I think one other concern is that if you don't allow RuneLight, or if you just allow something, there will be people that are using clients to benefit themselves. And I just think it's a much better option to just say you can use all plugins that you want that are currently allowed, and then just say like the content itself will never be changed. I think that's just the better way to go about it, personally.
Yeah, I would like that. I see what you're saying, and I think more people would enjoy playing that rather than totally third-party clientless version of 2007. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I wouldn't want to. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would just, if that came out, I would play without a client, just to or a third-party client, just to like maintain that dignity. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think you fall in line with Automelogy. I think I was talking about this with him because in his eyes, at least, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm pretty sure his is the reason an old school speaks to him is the clunkiness of it. Like, is the really old school nostalgic feeling of playing it with all its flaws and everything, with all its clunkiness. And I think for me, it's more, I just like the idea of a time capsule game that the content never changes, meaning nothing of yours will ever be devalued. Like, it's just the XP per hour is what it basically is set in stone, unless some random discovery comes out, but I doubt it because we've already had so many years of this game. So
you know, it's kind of reminding me. There's another private server. It's the one. It's actually the one that Rendy plays on, the RuneScape Classic Preservation. They're kind of similar to how 2004 Escape is, but they're a little bit more relaxed with the extent that they are maintaining the authenticity. So they've made clients available. Like, I think the developers of the RuneScape Classic Preservation have made like third-party clients that you can like zoom in and like show XP drops, that sort of thing, just to like make it feel a little bit smoother, like you're saying. I can kind of see that perspective. It is much nicer. Like playing RuneScape Classic without those things, you can like barely move your camera. You can only move it in like 4 spots. Like you can have like the southwest view, the northwest view,
oh god,
etc. But that's it. Unless you have these quality of life features that they've put into the client. So yeah, I can see how that would translate into 2007.
Yeah, I think it's just for me, it's just the content. I want all the content to stay. You know that no update will drastically change the game. You know that what you have is what you get until the end of time. That's what's most important to me, just content wise. So who knows? Like I feel like they have no incentive to sort of make an old school or any sort of like screenshot version of the game, mainly because right now the game's just doing super successfully right now. And I don't
know. I think that it wouldn't hurt them. Like they could just do like another world, like how Deadman is. No one plays Deadman, but they still have it, right? I assume it's still there. same kind of thing. Like just have one server if like that's what it comes down to. Is just host it.
Yeah, I would love it. I just feel like there will have to be some sort of anti-cheat team. Like they'll have to pour some amount of resources into it. And I think, I don't know, actually, I would, why don't they? Yeah, just send it. Come on, just send it now. But I wonder actually how easy that would be to, so for example, if they did come out with a bug, or if they're trying to make it so just the content stays, but all the other sort of groundwork is also in like the old school. I wonder how much time that actually takes, like how much they need to allocate to just make it so. For example, if they were to come out with a new bank setting switch on the main live servers, and then they would, in my view of old school, they would also give us that feature for like the old version of it in a way. Like I actually don't know where they would draw the line with things like that. But the thing is, like, I want all the quality of life we experience today, even inside the game, not just beyond Runelight, but also just keeping the content the same. So I don't know. This is something where it's kind of complicated trying to figure it out.
I think the way to do it would just be, like you said, like if you can do it in a client, a third-party client, then it'll change the game in that version too. I don't think updates to the main game should be able to affect that at all, personally. But even if their quality of life.
That's a good point.
Hypothetically, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this Clan Hall expansion. And I'm
gonna do I have like screenshot for you or something? Maybe, I don't know. If you could just click on that link, you can see it in there probably.
Sure.
But it was just a little fun project I did one day. Personally, I there's obvious flaws with the ideas I came up with, but honestly, my point here is I want them to do something with the Clan Hall. Do you ever go into the Clan Hall yourself? I'm curious.
I've been there a few times and I just get kind of depressed because nobody's in it. I'm like, all right,
there's out. Exactly. I personally, I kind of just added this topic to my my message like last minute. I don't know if you saw it or not, but having do you have any experience of like a sense of community in the game still outside of Discord before we get into it?
I mean, yeah, but it's just the clan features that we have, like whatever that is.
I guess talking in a clan chat is kind of similar to I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about, is like I'll get into what you asked in a second, but I'm just thinking about how like I miss like making like doing like Abyss Nats, for example. Like you'd be going on the same world every day, you'd be seeing the same nerds like with like post 99 RCXP at like 20k an hour back in the day. I miss that kind of thing and like chatting with those people, and I don't know, just like having some sort of sense of um this is somebody I see every day and I talk to them every day, like a reason to talk to people in game and like feel like there's a community of people doing the same thing you are, naturally, rather than uh like a clan is great, don't get me wrong, but like a kind of natural occurrence of people meeting each other in the game, and a non-toxic environment such as Winter Todd or World 1 Utrees in free to play.
Yeah.
I can't, I have to play with public off. Even like getting 200 mil fishing, oh my god, I literally kept my public off the entire time. I could not. The toxicity is insane anyway. But talking with like a person one-on-one, you can get a better sense of who they are anyway. Back to the clan hall thing. I want them to just do something with the clan hall. I want there to be a reason for clan members to go there together and like do something. Like something we can collectively contribute towards. I know people, I don't know, there's something from RS3 people keep telling me about. I have no idea what it is. It's not really what I'm suggesting from what I can tell. I don't know if you have any idea what I'm talking about or what they're talking about, but
I know of a few RS3 features like clan hall things that they have that would be kind of cool to be translated over. But
yeah, I'm not talking about like anything OP, but just like, so how I kind of set up this concept here is, we have a clan coffer currently in the clan hall. People can contribute GP towards it. The idea is that like you could contribute GP as a clan to purchase ridiculously expensive basic resources you could add to your clan hall, so that there's like a reason you could go in there and like train a skill together or whatever you feel like doing. So we also have the way I've illustrated it here in this document is the way that the POH interfaces exist as it is right now. You can, for example, select a room in your POH and you can rotate it, you can move it. Same concept. For example, put it placing like rocks in your clan hall in the mining area. You could like purchase an iron rock for, I don't know what I set it to, 5 million GP, something ridiculous. And you could place it in the mine. You could rotate it, put it wherever you want within a certain grid, that sort of idea. It is like kind of a little bit unusual of an update, I would say, for old school. Like they haven't really done anything like this where you could like customize a space other than your POH, but I'm kind of using that as a precedent, I guess. But I don't know, that's kind of the underlying idea. If you want, you can I can send you the full screenshot here. If you feel like talking, I can
yeah, no, I have your YouTube pulled up, so I'm seeing at least what you've created on Adobe Illustrator. So is that what you're talking about? Because if you have any other images, I could pull those up too. But if this is the one,
I'm pulling it up right here. Here we go. Yep. Oh wait. Oh, I mean that one's fine, I guess. But
well, that one's that. But on the YouTube, I'm actually seeing even more options that you've included. So I think this actually might work better. Yeah. No, I mean this.
Here it is now.
This is genuinely a good idea. I just wonder. For one, would it ever become meta? Because I think there is just this sort of meta thing where like if it isn't meta, nobody's gonna do it. But if it is meta, then everybody's in like their own private instance, and then what does that mean?
Exactly. I can see that argument as well, right? Like yeah, if you could put granite in here, that would be great. You could do some 3-tick granite in your own POH, but I guess I don't know, like there's not that much competition for it anyway, and you would be able to, I don't know, you could set it up so there's multiple 3-tick granite spots and you could train mining with your friend or something. I don't know. That's what my thought is on that question or whatever you said. Yeah.
What do you, so I'm thinking sort of broader. I like the overall kind of feeling you have, which is like you want to be able to play the game with others, like in your vicinity. Like that's, it seems like that's sort of the purpose. Is that not? It's sort of like just have your group of people that feel like you're in your own little space.
Yeah, like, so I'd like this to just be on like your set clan world. I think you can currently go between clan worlds and also be in the clan hall on different worlds, but it would be nice if it was just like one world you had to be on together, so you have to see them. But
because now I'm almost thinking like, how cool would it be if it doesn't necessarily need to be clan hall. It could be sort of overhaul to guilds themselves. And I just wonder, like, what if they were to truly overhaul a sort of mining guild, or even have a couple different areas, and this would maybe be included in free to play, where like you have an area and then you maybe have like a clan area where like when you click the gate, you can go to like your clan version of it. So now it's a sort of instanced area, but it's still in the game, but it's just your clan can be there, but it's still part of a guild. So it feels like it's not just this separate, like we're going to our private island right now to do our stuff, but it still feels like it's in the game, but you're only with the people you want to be with. And it's sort of like an instance to a guild itself. I'd wonder like if that's almost like a better implementation, and maybe in that area there's like now I'm going crazy because now I'm thinking like, because you're able to like spawn in things, I'm thinking how cool would it be to have your own like just sandbox guild area that your clan can sort of change. And like using construction and stuff, you can like clear out areas and like build what you're saying, like building rocks and in some certain areas. So like it always is a little bit different to other people's. But I don't know if that becomes too crazy. Like I almost feel like the idea of it just becomes way too sandboxy. It feels like some Project Xanaris type thing.
Yeah.
And I wonder how like the overall community would feel about something like that. Even though I love the creativity with it, I just wonder like how does that feel? Like, does that really feel like old school if you can just always kind of customize your own personal area that could become meta?
It is very hard to say, for sure. Yeah. What you're saying makes sense as well. I just want them to do literally anything to the clan hall to make there to be a reason to go there. There's a bank that's like, I don't know, you could do bank standing skills, I guess, together there currently. That's about it though. There's like a drop party thing you could do, but other than that, there's not really any reason to go there. I just want them to do literally anything to it personally.
I didn't even know the clan hall worked in free to play, to be honest.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you have so if it's really about let's really try to do some good to the clan hall, make it actually somewhere that is desirable to be, I agree with you there. That's so empty. Like it's just so depressing. There's no real reason to be there, maybe unless you're doing like a clan party or something. But yeah, I'm with you there. It is so tough though. Yeah.
Yeah. I think even just the clan system as a whole, they came out with it. They put things in that it's like a baseline for what they wanted it to be, and then they never touched it again, is what it feels like personally. They might have like had a couple other updates to it, I'm not sure, but it's just still like clunky. Like there's a lot of things that don't feel good. Like the whole settings menu just feels very weird, and it feels like it's not a finished product if you follow.
Oh, I do. Yeah, it's there's issues. I mean, just the fact that you couldn't even sort your clan by like name,
I hate
by rank.
Exactly.
It's like what? Like, how did you not add the ability to sort by rank? Like, what?
That's been in the game for a while, I think, right? In the friends chat.
Yeah. No, I think in the clan chat you are only able to ever sort it by alphabetical name, like no other way.
Can you even do that? Oh yeah, it is. It's by default. I see now.
Yeah, that's just the default, but there's no other setting for it. It's like what? How is that even like? What, that feels like one of the first things you should be able to do is just sort by rank or sort by world or sort by whatever. You know?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
They just need to spend some time thinking about it. I think a little bit more and do something. It would be really nice if they came out with like a clan hall or just a clan QOL update at some point. That would be nice.
Yep. What are your thoughts on if they were to add some sort of teaser sailing to free to play? Is that just an absolute no go? Like, do not include that whatsoever. And do you even think there's potential for them to do that in the future?
That's a good question. I hate to say it, I could see them like doing that, adding it back to free to play. I think maybe what their intention was for making it members only is so that they could get as many people to like around the hype of it to get members. Like they have to get members in order to do this huge new skill that's coming out. I think that's why they made it members only. But I think I could see them in the distant future kind of tailoring it to free to play only content. I would absolutely hate that. I don't want sailing in free to play personally. If to people listening out there, if you enjoy it, that's great. But I'm in the camp that I like I said, I haven't seen much content of it, but I trust people's opinions that from the people I know who have dove right in. And I don't think I like it because of what people have said about it rather than what I've seen.
That's fair. I'm overall quite happy with it, but I know for a fact if it came to free to play, you guys would be on a raft in like Port Sarim, and that's the extent of it, and that would be the most depressing thing of all time. Because just the fact that you could level it up means that you're gonna have to do the most shitty stupid method of all time in the slowest manner possible, and that's gonna be your whole experience. So it's almost like if they were to add agility. I mean, now to be fair, agility pretty much is really crappy across the board, but we do have Sepulchre in members. But if they were to add agility as a skill in free to play, it's like, all right, go to Falador and now run Falador for
forever.
God, oh my God, I just lose my mind. That would be so awful. But actually, has your opinion on agility ever changed? I actually can't even remember what your opinion on that was. If they did add agility to free to play, like this is before run energy changes. I think that was part of the incentive to add a sort of agility. But
right. My opinion hasn't really changed on the topic. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it's not something I necessarily want them to do. It wouldn't really affect anything other than just add a lot more hours to 200 mil all for me. So I think it would open up the floodgates for multi-skilling things I would absolutely not want to do too. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing the way I want to at this point in my my count life. So I don't think I would do those anyway, but that's my opinion hasn't really changed since the last time I was on, I think.
The other question I have is, what are your thoughts on PvM in free to play?
So since the last time we talked, Scurious came out, and that was actually marketed as a free to play update initially, but for some reason they last minute people asked them, is this going to be a free to play update, and they were like, no, why would it be a free to play update? They just like totally ignored the fact that they like pitched it as a free to play update.
It's in Varrock sewers, like the free to play haven.
That's why crazy. I feel like that's why they did that, but then for some reason they decided nope, members only. I think that would be great content for free to play. I think I believe one of us tested it with like free to play gear, and it would actually be like pretty close to combat meta for free to play, because there's like a XP multiplier. Am I right on that? I think some bosses have like
if you use the Ratbane weaponry as well, you get a +10 max hit. So I don't know if that are you saying including that as well, or just keeping it to
I'm just saying
free to play items?
Like Rune Simi.
Okay,
it would be pretty close to combat meta. Like XP rates, so that would be awesome. Like that would make combat not stupid. Like currently what it is, it's basically like Nightmare Zone. You just set flesh crawlers all day, or you can, I guess it's fine, like some people like this, but the meta is making Castle Wars alts, one defense Castle Wars alts with high HP, and just killing those during Castle Wars, because the Castle Wars bracelet has a plus 15% bonus or something. So you can get essentially like 90k an hour combats in free to play, killing your alts in Castle Wars. Some people like doing that. I'm not a huge fan though. But if there was like a boss you had to kill for combat XP in free to play, that'd be so sick, I think.
Did they have you done any bryophyta since all those changes?
Yeah, I still haven't got Bryo's Essence or the Obor Club, so I am kind of whenever I get in the mood to like kill those, I'll do it. But I did do it a little bit, yeah, after they've updated it.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, has that become at all some new meta for free to play, where you can just endlessly grind bryophyta and get some alks and stuff, or is that just not really worth?
I don't think it's good XP now.
Okay. Well, yeah,
in
it's
Iron Man, it's not worth it because it doesn't drop anything interesting. It only drops like normal Moss Giant loot, I think. If you're talking about like Iron Man, it doesn't affect them at all because it's basically just a normal Moss Giant until you get that key. Then you get the loot. Yeah. So
what about the? I feel like there's some weird thing about the bones there. It's like you can. They're not normal bones. Have you? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like they.
Are you talking about Scurious or
No. I'm talking about bryophyta. It's like when you kill it, there's like a bone thing that you go over to. And it's not like a classic pick up the big bones, bury them. It's like there's like a bury option while they're on the ground in a weird
Huh. So what you're talking about is something they proposed in a recent blog post. They're talking about adding a left click bury option when bones are on the ground, which would be pretty big for free to play Iron Man. But is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, because that's what they already have with bryophyte. I didn't know that was going to be
Wait, really?
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be like a universal thing. Yeah, there's such a thing called giant bones, which let me click them. Let's see what they say. Giant bones are a larger variant of big bones dropped by Obor and bryophyta. On members worlds.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never heard of that.
Interesting.
So members.
Okay, because I thought for sure it'd be free. Why is it even on members in the first place? Which only have a take option on the ground. The item additionally has a bury option, which the player receives 150 prayer XP. So that's why I was like, is this like the new sort of prayer meta potentially, or something you could slip in? But you're saying free to play doesn't even have the 150 prayer XP, like they don't have that. It's just normal big bones.
No, I didn't know that was a thing until you said it.
Okay, interesting. Why I don't get it. Sometimes I don't get all the random exceptions and stuff. You know, now that you're now that we're talking about Obor and bryophyte, I don't know if you ever watch Lake at all, but I just remember there was this panic clip of him doing like the CA where you have to kill bryophyte on free to play, or Obor on a free to play world. And he brought all his like members gear or whatever, and he's like literally about to die to fucking Obor on his like maxed hardcore, and he doesn't know where to like leave. So like you see like the super talented PvMer that's just some of the hardest content. And he's now he's in there with Obor with his members gear. He can't kill, and he's like fucking freaking out because he doesn't know how to escape. It's hilarious. So but yeah, I mean, the reason I kind of bring up PvM though is I'm always wondering what value skill expression has in RuneScape to a free-to-play player, because in some way I see free-to-play players as more traditional RuneScape players that maybe don't want to have to learn all the intricacies of PvM, for example, or all the crazy methods. It's almost like they want a game that's more familiar, more streamlined, and more basic in some sense. And then I think, is there even a desire for free to play to see some sort of true skill expression in a PvM encounter, like something that truly takes a little bit of skill? Where, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of skill expression in free to play, but it's done through skilling. It's done through like the 2.6 tick willows and stuff, you know. But you don't really see that with any form of PvM. And I wonder, is that something that's even desirable for the free to play community? Would that be acceptable, or should that always be members stuff? What are your thoughts?
That's a good question. I've always wondered, like, how sick would it be if they did like a raid that was in, like, you had to wear like free to play gear or something. I don't know, or even like like another thought I had was of what's the temporary thing called? What's it called?
Leagues.
Leagues. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, if they did like a free to play leagues or something, that'd be interesting too. But yeah, like I can imagine like a free to play raids would be a good way to like introduce people to PvM, I think. And if they even, you know, like they put it in free to play, it wouldn't have to have any kind of crazy loot that would be game breaking, but they could, you know, something to to kind of tease what is available in members, of course, would be good for the game, I think, and also something, it could be something challenging outside of the standard click on monster to kill them type of thing. You could definitely put in some game mechanics to make it more challenging, for sure. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. What do you think about like that kind of update? Would you want like a raids, or do you have something else in mind?
I've always thought it would be so cool to go back to the sort of roots of old school and make some dungeon, like just a sort of underground dungeon that is a sort of raid. And I think one of the things that people often want, but they can never really figure out a way to implement it. They've tried it with Moons of Peril, where like you're all kind of there, but you're killing your own thing, so it's not so you can like go with your friends, but you're going to pass them if they're lower level, but you still see them, but they're not affecting your damage. It's just this weird way of doing it. But I think something that would be so cool to incentivize you playing with a new player. So, I remember like in college, I'd have a friend like, hey, like let's play RuneScape together over the weekend. And then I see his account, he's like level fucking 60. I'm like, oh, well, you go off and do your thing. I'm going to play my game,
Yeah.
But if you had a... Okay, this is what I would imagine. I would imagine somewhere, maybe Falador, just some sort of classic, iconic, free-to-play area where there is now this underground dungeon. And what it is it's like 4 rooms. In the first room, there's some rats that are coming, and there's some other things. And you can basically do this mini raid with anybody. So it would be similar to like the Nilo room, where there's just a bunch of mobs. You have to attack them with different styles. You kill all the enemies, and one of the incentives of this is you could be in with a max player, and you could just be a really shitty level. And ultimately, however much damage you're going to do is going to be the chance of your loot at the end. So you can just go in with your friend, that is a very high level or whatever. Go in there, have fun. Next room has some other challenge, maybe some little falling boulders and whatever else is happening. Just very basic mechanics, but it still feels like there's some skill expression to have, maybe some little things. And then at the final thing, you basically have a Scurious where there's some real prayer switching going on and something. And then the final thing, you have a little chest to loot. A couple concerns with something like this for free to play is if it's not good enough, nobody's really going to want to do it. Like if the loot isn't good enough, or if there's not a unique that's worth going for, this might be dead content. But if it's too good, if the generic loot is too good, then it's going to be like, this is where everybody goes all the time. And doesn't that kind of defeat some of the nostalgic areas of free to play where you're kind of just killing classic things? Like like the balancing of it feels impossible because of just, I don't know, like you're going to have one concentrated place that could be very, very fun. But if it's too crappy, nobody's going to do it. But if it's too good, it just kind of dominates everything else. I just wonder how that would play out.
That's probably something that the poor JMods face on the daily is some impossible game balancing to think about. Maybe there's an answer to that question. We've just kind of come up with it on the spot, but if you thought about it more, maybe there's an answer. I'm not sure.
Do you think there's room for a better armor or a better weapon in free to play? I know they came out with the Baronite mace that's not quite as good as the Rune Sim, but it's like an option if you're an Iron Man that wants to go grind out a Rune Sim.
I think it would be so unfortunate if they ever changed what is best in slot and free to play. Personally, just I don't know. You can probably see from my perspective. One thing I wouldn't mind them changing is like changing the Gold Castle Wars armor to be Runa instead of Addy, because I think they probably intended that to be the Rune items to be exclusive to completing Dragon Slayer and getting them that way. But we're past that at this point. They're kind of just shitty armor to the majority of the players in the game. But that would be nice. It takes a long time to get it too, so it wouldn't be game breaking. I feel. I would hate for them to change like the best in slot Rune Sim to something else personally, but
because I was, again, coming from a non free to play background, I was just thinking, well, one of the things that I find silly in free to play is you can't make a U short bow and you can't use rune arrows. What's up with that?
Yeah, that would be weird. I wouldn't mind that. Like, I don't know, maple short bow is kind of iconic, but I could see there being.
I mean, you could
a
chop
yew
yew
shortbow,
trees,
okay.
so and you can't.
Yeah.
Is there even a maple tree in free to play? Wait,
There
are,
are
right?
they
Okay.
after they added Corsair Cove, they put them in there. Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, I swear there's not even maple trees there, but you can have a maple bow. But there's yew trees all over
Yeah.
the place in free to play, but you can't make a yew bow. What's up with that?
Right. Something interesting about free to play in 2004 is they only had oak short bows. There's nothing beyond oak short bows in free
Oh
to play
God.
for a long time. Yep. So I don't know when I'm not sure what year they added willow and maple to free to play, but that's interesting.
I would love it if you were able to use rune arrows. You could use a yew short bow. And then I was even thinking, this is, again, don't take anything from my mouth as like anything that needs to be implemented in free to play. But I was just thinking, how cool would it be actually if they did slowly progress? I'm not saying we're all at the same time, but just slowly sort of introduce a little bit of dragon into free to play. But I'm like, nah, that's probably just too much of a, because you could never get a dragon scimitar because it's from a member's quest, but you could get like a dragon. Actually, what could you use? Because you can't even use any of the dragon weaponry really, unless you have like quest requirements that are members.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking like,
Good point. Yeah.
I was just thinking like it would be cool to see some player get like some dragon med helm, just a very classic, iconic thing that is now like the best in slot, but it's very rare and it's from a new boss, but it still has the nostalgia, so it's not like some Baronite thing that nobody's ever heard of, and it just feels out of this world.
I have a kind of different opinion on that topic. To me, like dragon equipment, skill capes, things like that are pay to play, and if they were to add it to free to play, it would kind of kill the vibe. If everyone was walking around with skill capes in free to play or dragon armor, it reminds me of how RS3 has approached adding updates to free to play. Is they've added like KBD to free to play, they've added giant mold to free to play.
Oh,
I remember, like way back in the day, like 2011, or even I'm not sure when it was, but when they added revs to the wilderness in RS3, free to play players could get the corrupted dragon equipment, I think is what it was called, something like that. And that is like a degradable version of dragon items that you can only have equipped for 10 hours or something like that before it degrades, and it was worth like millions of GP, so it wasn't actually worth using unless you're like PKing, basically.
I see.
That's kind of how they approached it. But I personally wouldn't want to see any like iconic members items. I think this might be weird, but I think I'd rather see weird things added to free to play, like Baronite maces, than I would iconic members items, just because
that makes sense.
Kill the free to play feel for me.
Totally. So in your opinion, if they were to come out with some sort of mini raid, what would you expect as a unique reward? Would you want anything to ever surpass Rune Sim, or is that just like, nope, that's a no-go, and any rune armor, anything better than that, no-go? Like, what do you
I would
think?
want maybe like a combination of something that's purely aesthetic, or maybe has some sort of function, maybe a teleport or something that's a ever so slight convenience to, I don't know, something, not necessarily XP rates, but I guess it would in turn probably affect XP rates, whatever.
What about like a grand exchange teleport? I know you got that.
I don't know, something. Yeah. Something I've always kind of wanted was like, this is before they did any updates to the Skull Scepter at all, like back when it was like you assembled it and then it degraded after 7 uses or whatever it was. Is I wish they had added like some sort of insanely rare version of it that could be dropped by the stronghold security monsters that just like would take hundreds of hours to get the item, but it was infinite teleports. Something like that would be awesome. Like for them to add just like I don't know, something that it would increase convenience but takes like a long time to get. Like you'd have to grind it out in order to get it from the raid. That would be nice. I think that would be what I would prefer.
Okay, hear me out on this. Let me get your take on this. This would be a new an introduction of a new item, but it also has a place for members. So if they came out with this sort of free to play raid type dungeon minigame, whatever, it would actually have some implications on members as well. And this would be, right now there is only one necklace slot that gives range damage bonus, which is the Anguish. And so it feels like and that's a +5 range. So I'm just wondering, what if there was like a +2 range damage new amulet that came out, or new necklace that came out that does have implications for free to play. So free to play can use these new things. It is a very powerful weapon for ranged, or not weapon, armor piece or jewelry. And then you'd also have a baby occult. So the occult right now, I believe, gives 5% as well. They nerfed it from 10, but maybe there could be a new like occult thing. So it's better than a magic Ami that's free to play, and it gives like +2 magic damage. Like, do you think that would have a place in free to play? Do you think that could work as like the 2 mega rares from this little dungeon?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it in terms of balance, is like something in between. What's, if there is like space for that, if there's something like, you know, I don't know if this is exactly how the game works, but you know, if there all there is a magic amulet, and then you got something that's way better, but it's insanely hard to get, finding a space in between that would be a good way to balance it. Yeah, for sure. I don't know, free to play. I wouldn't like seeing it in free to play personally, but it could be a strategy of implementing it that way, I suppose.
Okay, because right now I'm thinking like melee amulets truly have a use. I mean, going from having the option between like a power ami and a strength ami, like there's truly some decision making to be had. And like, obviously, if you just have a DPS calc, you just know what you're going to use. But like,
yeah.
But at least there are some upgrades to your melee amulet. When it comes to range, it's like, all right, I'm just gonna use a defense. Like, I don't even know. Like, is there? I guess a power ami, it has range bonus. I think maybe
it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So maybe it's just that.
I think accuracy amulet does too. But
amulet of accuracy. Yeah, there you go. So you're choosing that, and then like magic ami is like +10 magic accuracy, which is like, who cares? And I feel like if you just had that extra bit where it's like, okay, this actually matters in some situations.
That's a good point. Like, magic is pretty useless. Like, I don't know, casting spells on things in free to play is kind of useless. So maybe, I don't know, maybe like magic could become this overpowered thing to like kill monsters quicker, like with some amulet. Maybe you're right. That could be an option. Yeah.
Yeah. Just I'm always imagining like what could sort of fit free to play, not break it or anything, but like add some sort of potential incentive. Because man, when I was so frustrated. I mean, even to this day, Bryophyta is still kind of clunky, but like original Bryophyta, where you have to kill 150 moss giants or something for a fucking key to kill this boss that's just pure garbage. I mean, it's just like you're getting these fucking entlings constantly rehatching and coming at you, and you can't do anything, and you have to use use the axe on the guys. I'm like, nothing in this is not preparing you for members. This is actually just giving you a bad taste in your mouth for any sort of bossing. It's
exactly.
just, this is dreadful, and like nobody would want to pay for membership if they thought this was what it's going to be. And I just think like they need to come out with some more intuitive bossing, or just some form of dungeon that's actually fun and it shows you, oh, things can actually be enjoyable, and maybe I should get members. I don't know.
Yeah. I just remembered, speaking of bosses that make no sense why they made them members only. I get where they're going with it, but like I think it would have made way more sense for them to have made the ice giant boss be free to play and not some like weird combo fire giant ice giant thing. I think how they should have done it is probably because like ice giant is free to play, moss giant is free to play, hill giant is free to play, fire giant is pay to play. They could have just done like what they did with fire giants the way they did, or something. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I feel like they should have done it that way.
Honestly, Royal Titans should have been free to play with a different drop table.
Yeah,
dude, like I kid you not, like doing Royal Titans with free to play gear, like doing that, I truly think that would have actually been such an excellent update, as long as as long as the loot's balanced, as long as whatever the uniques are balanced toward free to play. But that, I don't know if you've ever done Royal Titans. That shit's fun. Like, it's actually fun, and doing it on a free to play would be a true challenge.
Yeah,
but still easily doable. It would actually give you the feeling of like, oh, this is actually members bossing. Like, this is what I can expect if I became a member.
I feel like maybe what they do is they have this idea. They're like, oh yeah, we'll do this for free to play. But then they put all this time in, and they're like, man, this is just going to go to people who aren't paying for the game. I don't know if it's worth it. Then maybe we'll just put members.
Yeah, probably, honestly. That Royal Titans, I am such a fan of. It's truly a very fun fight. It's got some rhythm to it. It's got two different styles. You're actually three different styles if you want to do it properly, and it's just such a cool little fight. And doing it on free to play would be a true challenge, really. And it would be so cool to duo it with your friend. Question about new skills. We've now seen the introduction of sailing. Besides the past few days when there was some rough waters that the devs were dealing with when it came to balancing, salvaging, and I don't know if you paid any attention whatsoever. Just the fact that you haven't engaged in sailing means that none of this is really probably ringing a bell at all, or has any sort of impact on the way you're playing. But there were some rough spots with sailing, but I feel like for the most part, it was very well received. And me personally, I voted no to sailing when the first poll came out. And the reason I voted no was not because I would just never want to see sailing. It's just, I just thought there was so much more that the game needs in regards to rebalancing and fixes. And the fact that forestry had just landed, and I'm like, if this is what we imagine skilling becoming, I'm very worried about like the forestryization of a new skill. Like I was concerned at that time, but I was like, okay, it did pass. I'm going to try to remain somewhat excited about it. And then the beta came out and I was very concerned, mainly because you're only training sailing from level 1 to 30. And it's just the worst experience because of how slow and just awful the routes are. And your little raft is just so slow and crappy. But now that the game has actually introduced it and I've actually got to experience a lot of sailing, I'm truly impressed with it. There's obviously problems with it all over the place, but they're just so little in the grand scheme of things. And I think they actually did pretty good with it. And I'm convinced, at least at this point in time, I'm convinced that we will see another skill come into the game probably in the next 5 years. And I'm wondering,
for sure.
Could you, first off, are you at all an advocate for a new skill if it is a perfectly conceived skill in your mind? Like, do you think there's space for a new skill? And I'm talking even on members, but I'm also talking free to play as well. Like, could you ever see a new skill arriving that does have some sort of introductory part of it in free to play?
Jagex is welcome to prove me wrong here, but what I prefer in skilling is not the way the strategy they take in updating the game. It is not the same thing. So what I like is simplicity. That's my whole gameplay style. And for some reason they feel the need to make everything so ridiculously complex, which historically has not been what skilling is. Just like I don't mind it in some things. Like Sepulcher is a great example of taking complexity in a positive direction. But like, I don't know. I what I would prefer, I like very simple things. Like I said, I like clicking a rock and I like getting XP for it.
Yep.
So if they were to come out with a simple skill, I would love it, but they would never do that. There's no reason for them. It's not lucrative. They need to get people hooked on the game. They need people to pay membership, and they want them to stay logged in, and they want to AFK stuff all the time. That's what people do. That's what they want. So that's what Jagex will do. So I have no faith in them coming out with any skill that I would ever enjoy because of that fact. But they're welcome to prove me wrong. maybe there's space in there for them to make something that I would enjoy. I have no idea.
I will say, I think if you were to engage in salvaging, I think you would enjoy it. I'm almost certain, because they did make it very simplistic. There's just two things. It's just the salvaging, which can be tick manipulated in a variety of different ways too. So it can actually be very, very chill. But on top of that, you have a little bit of decision making when it comes to your crewmates on it. And it's very, very simplistic. And then you just have the sorting. So it's like a two step thing that's just repeated, and there's like little ways to optimize it, but it's like player choice. But ultimately, it falls in line exactly with what you would want, which is like click the salvaging hook, gain XP, click the sorting thing, gain XP, and get loot and whatever. But I see what you mean, generally speaking, with Jagex. I feel like they do find this. I think they have too much incentive to make a skill more interesting than the old school vibe originally was. Is there anything in your mind though that could fit your idea of a new skill? Like, have you ever thought for a little bit of like, if there was a new skill, what you would want in theory?
You know, this is a really hard question. I've thought about this before and I can't come up with anything. Before sailing came out, sailing is like, it's not necessarily like a skill. It's like, it's a topic that they could create a skill around, in theory, before they came out with sailing. And I had ideas in mind of what that would be, like how that would be trained. And that, like the things I had in mind for it would be nice. I think it would have been more along, like if I were to design sailing, I would have made it kind of, I hate to say this, but like kind of more so similar to like dungeoneering, in a way. Like it would be more of like a multiplayer thing. I think there needs to be more of that in the game personally, not necessarily dungeoneering, but just like more multiplayer related activity, that's worth doing. Anyway, no, the answer is no. I don't know what they should do. So I can't really judge them. I understand, but yeah, I can't think of a single thing. Can you?
I mean, I'm just
Of
wondering
what kind of skill?
what were your thoughts on warding? That was not going to be free to play, but when that was being proposed originally, did you think like, oh, this is a classic enough of a skill? It's very simplistic. It's not too like chaotic. It feels like it fills some sort of niche. I mean, I have my own issues on that niche being filled actually with that, but
What was it exactly again? It was like kind of
just
crafting, sort of.
yeah, it's like
you would
magic crafting is like being able to make like wizard robes
Right.
and stuff, and you just sit at these little altars around the game. It's kind of had like the rune crafting vibe to it, but it was a sort of buyable potentially.
I don't I remember reading in depth about it, but I don't remember what it was like precisely I didn't like about it, but I think the answer would be no. There was a reason for that, but I can't remember why. It's been so long.
It's been almost 9 years since I think we were first talking about. Was that 2017 when that was proposed?
Maybe. If that's so, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was, which is crazy because it's almost 2026. Yeah, wait, dude, I actually, speaking of the amount of time that's passed, do you remember when that whole meme sort of thing came out where you're like, oh, imagine doing this in 2016? Like, imagine this in 2016. Like, that was like the sort of meme template. We'd all say it, you know?
I forgot about that.
And just to think that it's been 10 years almost since that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. But, okay.
So sad, but also fine.
Okay, let me also ask, do you play any other games right now besides just different forms of RuneScape?
So this is something I've been thinking about doing. I haven't quite gotten off the addicted to RuneScape train I'm on right now, but I do kind of have a few side projects of things I'd like to do. I kind of kept them in mind while I was training the gathering skills, because like this has kind of been my main goal for so many years, is finishing the gathering skills. And now that they're done, I do want to like do some other things in my life in terms of playing other games or real life activities as well. I do play. I did get pretty heavily into Geoguesser for about a couple years.
Oh shit!
A year or two ago, and I want to get back into it. I kind of just the thing is, like, when I play something, I don't think I'm like when people ask me, for example, are you a gamer? Do you like playing video games? It's hard for me to say yes, because like like I play a game basically. I get really addicted to one thing and I like can't get off of it for a while. So sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, I do play GeoGuessr. I want to get back into it. I got really addicted to it for a couple of years while playing RuneScape. I'd probably just like AFK on the side, but it yeah, I was spending quite a lot of time on it. Broke some world records.
Oh
I
shit!
tended to get like really, like I said, really into things when I played them. So,
What
but
what what was the reason you got into it in the first place? What spoke to you about it? It feels like that game for me is just like I am gonna be so bad at this. There's just no like part of me that wants to
so
get into it.
I tend to get into like niche things in games. It seems like so like you can. It almost feels similar to RuneScape in this way. Is that what you can do is you can practice countries similar to how you just train a skill. So if you just like train a skill in RuneScape over and over again, you get crazy XP in there. So like I enjoyed just like hyper focusing on countries and getting better than everyone else at them. That's something I like doing. I appreciate people who can like play the whole world and like be really good at the whole world. That doesn't entirely interest me. I did get decent at playing the worlds, but I really enjoyed like researching. The nice thing about the game is that it's real. It's like real things in the world, and you can research cultures. You can research architecture. You can. I feel like that's a nice skill to learn. Just learning about the world in general. So that was another upside to it. So yeah, I just really got into both Greenland and Iceland was the two countries I was like into. So
Oh shit. What are your who's that dude that just went hella viral for a few years about Geoguesser? He was just like the king of it. And I'd see videos on Reddit of him doing some
I assume
crazy...
you're talking about probably Rainbow. I assume is who you're talking about.
Probably.
Right.
It's the guy that would do like the literal millisecond of it popping on screen and he just like boom right there. You know, just maybe he's not as accurate, but maybe it's just the viral clips that I'd see that were just so insanely precise. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
like
how?
Okay, it seems crazy to do that, but like if you play enough, it's like even like if you play, I didn't play that much, but even if you play to the extent I did, like you can get pretty accurate with just like quick. I think it's called blink mode. It's like 0.1 seconds.
Yeah.
You get to look at the image. It sounds ridiculous, but even if you just play a little bit, you can do that. What he does on those videos pretty easily.
Interesting. I think the only thing that even comes close to that is I remember I did a stream one time and like the Runelight clue helper was down or something, and so what I decided to do was just flash the clue step for a literal split second because it doesn't even go for a full tick. I mean, you can it's an interface that just has, you know, whatever amount of time you want into it. So I just escape from it immediately. But that was really fun because I had just done thousands of clues that even just a split second of almost like where the wording, like I don't even have time to read what it says, but just the spacing of everything, I would come to my mind of like where to go.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, is this I need to see this.
This is a video I'd posted. I have a secondary Geoguesser channel I'd occasionally upload on, but this is me guessing Greenland and what does it say exactly? Point. I don't remember what I did.
That must have been 0.1. That was nuts.
It's like 0.1 seconds, black and white, upside down, blurry, scrambled screen or something is what I did.
I need to see
like,
this one.
If you play enough, you can do it pretty easily.
Bro, I can't even get it to pause like properly. Like, oh my god, yeah. That's insane. I see, my ignorance is Greenland's just all ice, right? Like what's the difference? Like that I would be, this is just, bro, that is nuts that you chose one of those little islands. Like I don't know anything about geography over there. What the fuck? So those are the main two you said that you kind of studied, was Greenland and Iceland.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Definitely want to visit. Greenland's kind of expensive to go to. It's not easy to get there, it seems like, but Iceland is more accessible. I do want to. We're thinking about going there next year at some point just to visit. So
nice. Yeah. So let me ask, plans now that the three main gathering skills are completed. What have you been grinding? What's the plans for 2026? What are the grinds that you're looking forward to?
So I believe I'll probably get these skills done in 2026. Currently, I've been bonfiring at work. Kind of unfortunate that it came into the game. It's fine, but I guess I can get an easy 200 mil that way. Been bonfiring at work, and when I'm like more focused on the game, been doing a little bit of rune 2H smithing. It's not really the meta of these things, but it definitely progresses my account very easily, and I can do it in with little effort. So we'll probably be getting fire making, smithing, and crafting done by the end of 2026 is my guess. Probably in the middle of it, even. They're very fast skills. So after then, we'll just have combat and the 2 hard skills left for my account. So that would be prayer and rune crafting. The positive thing is that prayer has, since we last spoke, the price of it has gone down a lot, and we have vile ashes now. I don't know when those came out exactly, but
those are the how many XP per?
Yeah, I think it's 25 XP.
25, okay.
I think. Anyway, it's over 100k an hour. Prayer is in free to play now.
Okay.
Just spamming vile ashes and big bones. It is a little bit click intensive. It's 1 tick every thing you click on, but it's better than 40k an hour, and it's also GP per XP went from being like 20 GP per XP, now it's like 3 or 4 GP per XP.
Nice.
So it's definitely doable. Yeah, one thing I do not mind in terms of devaluation is prices being devalued. For example, body talismans. For people listening, body tiaras are the best free-to-play rune crafting XP per hour, and it's only like 55k an hour solo, but it's like 44 GP per XP currently, which is so stupid because that's like over 8 bill for 200 mil RC in free-to-play.
Oh my god.
If Jagex is listening, please just dump body talismans into the game. Note them. I don't care. Put them on every drop table, please. Just
what are the buy limits to that? I mean, that's got to just be a huge chokehold too, right?
I have no idea. That's a good question. I've never like really purchased them because I don't have much post. 11,000 is what this says.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't done much post 99 RC. And I haven't really bought much body talismans, so I don't really know. I did Earth tiaras to 99 because back when I did 99 RC, we did not have any updates to the Skull Scepter, so it was not viable to teleport to the body altar at all. So what I did was I used a bunch of alts and ran tiaras and talismans to my main account for like 40k an hour.
Going back to prayer, I'm curious, do you do any multi-skilling with that? Like, do you grab it from a bank, start burying it on the way to something at all, or is that just a simple stand by a bank and do it?
I would love for it to just be stand by a bank and do it. However, Freckled Dad, he has a 200 mil prayer in free to play. He did a lot of combat prayer, so he had 1 defense alts on a PvP world next to the Edgeville bank chest, and he would get a full inventory of bones and ashes and do normal prayer while also killing those 2 alts, and that's a crazy efficient method. You're basically getting 1-to-1 combat XP and 1-to-1 prayer XP simultaneously, so that's what he did.
That's crazy.
A lot of and he also did you can scatter ashes while doing fire making, and he did that the entire way to 200 mil fire making as well. So
wow.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on alting in general? It feels like some of the time alting can get so complex and just so kind of like headache inducing doing it long term. And I wonder for you, like, are you happy with like being a main account and being able to like utilize alt methods? Are you envious to any degree for like Ironman that get to just not have to deal with that? And, like, what are your thoughts on alting in general?
So yeah, like you said, alting it has its benefits. It's entertaining to be able to like play more than 1 account, but at the same time, if I could get rid of like having to need alts, I would. I hate how I have to make money to train skills.
Yeah.
My approach like my mentality towards it in recent days has been to do what I want in the game not necessarily what is most efficient, what will make me the most money, but what I enjoy doing. I've really enjoyed doing wrath runes, so I do that when I'm able to play the game and focus. When I'm at work, I've been doing Vire Watch Sentinels. It's pretty AFK and makes a decent amount of GP. It's not great, but it'll add up over time of, going to work 9 to 5 every day and just sitting at Vires. So
Yep.
that's my approach to it.
Nice. Do you play Iron Man at all? Do you have any Iron Man account? Or have you always just been main?
So I've got, let me think of Iron Man accounts I've actually like put time into. I've got one free to play Iron Man account that I made a little series about. Some people want me to pick it back up. That might be an option in the future. But what I did on it was I played a free to play, no shop, no quest Iron Man. So I think this is a great way to play the game. I wish even members didn't have to rely on shops for their Iron Man accounts. I absolutely hate shops. I wish you could just collect resources and that's the only way you could get them. I think that's what Iron Man mode should be, instead of sitting at a store all day and purchasing things. I think it's dumb. Anyway, I spent some time on this account. I've mostly made it to the end game of it and kind of got burnt out of it because it just would be just grinding to 99 at this point in certain skills, and I got over certain hurdles that made it interesting. But I might come back to it and set myself some goals on it. We'll see. But yeah.
Nice. Any UIM interest?
Yeah, actually, wait a second. I do have another UIM. I played a UIM during 200 mil fishing. I kind of picked it up over the summer again, just to play. I played a couple months on it on the side. What I did was during 200 mil fishing, I was kind of bored. I didn't really feel like playing any sort of, at the time it was like Karamja Shop alt was the best meta for making money. I didn't really feel like doing that because it was a little toxic and having to hop through worlds was not very fun while 3-tick fishing. So what I did was I played a UIM, did some agility on it. Not really in the spirit of UIM, doesn't have anything to do with inventory, but I got like 28 mil agility XP during 200 mil fishing, got like rank 4 UIM agility at the time or something like that. So I also played, if you look at like the archive for King of the Skill, I managed to get rank 5 King of the Skill on that UIM account. The username is Pawz backwards Zwap. So
Zwap.
Yep. I just played it a little bit over the summer, messed around on Borrow more, and tried out some new content that I wouldn't normally engage with. So
nice. Is there anything in the main members game that sort of like attracts you to it? Like I like sort of like you would love to be able to play that, but you're too dedicated to your account, sort of, or are you just pretty much content with the free to play life?
I'm pretty content with the free to play life, but I will say there's like, I can't name anything off the top of my head, but there are certain things that are in the spirit of free to play skilling in a way that I am attracted to doing, but I can't obviously because it's members.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I'm pretty content with free to play though.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it sounds like really if in some magical world bots could be deleted, hard leather could function, and I don't know. It almost I was gonna mention bonfires, but honestly, in my view, bonfires are fine. It's just like it's like
so.
What do you? I don't know. What do you have more thoughts on that? I just feel like, well, at least when it came to members' side, bonfires felt so underwhelming and so pointless because they tried to like nerf it arbitrarily just to be like, yeah, this is shit. But now you get full XP. I'm like, that's actually
you might as well have done that to begin with. Exactly. Yeah. I think I can see from your perspective, from playing members, fire making is already like kind of a stupid skill. Like what people do, the majority of people will only ever do Winter Todd is how it works. We didn't have access to that. Fire making previously was a skill you actually had to like collect each log to light it, and I think that's it would have, it's not the slowest skill, but I would feel some sense of achievement getting 200 mil versus with bonfires. So it kind of deleted that for me. So that's my one gripe with it. Other than I like I said, I get where they're going with it. They're trying to cater skilling to everyone. Everyone should be able to train their skills without trying. So I get it, but it is annoying.
You know what they should have done? Made it so bonfires can only be built in a clan hall. So you have to be with your bros in the middle of the clan hall using the bonfire.
And you have to like get a certain amount of people, otherwise the fire like dissipates.
Exactly.
Yeah,
keep
it going. Or you could like make it go crazy and it would get like huge. Like, you ever seen people in real life like make huge bonfires?
Oh yeah, start shoving like pallets on it.
Put like
a
couch in there or something.
Yeah. All of a sudden, your whole clan fucking building is burning down. You just gotta keep putting it on though.
That'd be a great update, actually.
Yeah. See, one thing we did miss is your boat can't catch in flames. I really wish there was some way in sailing for, who knows, maybe because they haven't even touched PvP sailing. I'm just thinking like, man, if you could start like shooting people's ships with cannonballs and it starts lighting on fire. The only experience we've had of fires on boats is Dragon Slayer 1 and Dragon Slayer 2, where you're just jumping around and trying to extinguish the flames. It's silly, but yeah.
Have you ever played that? There was a game. Is it Sea of Thieves? Is that what it's called? A lot of people talk about it.
I haven't played it. I'm like you. I'm a scaper. I'm not a gamer.
Yeah. I've never played it either, but people have talked about it. I remember though, when I was a lot younger, I played, like, it was around the time I started playing RuneScape. They came out with a Pirates of the Caribbean online game. And that was sick. The sailing aspect of that game was so awesome. I almost wish that like RuneScape had done something along those lines. But I've described this to people who are actual gamers, and they were like, "Oh, that's just like Sea of Thieves." So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. It'd almost be cool to play Sea of Thieves or any sort of game that has sailing implemented and just see all the good stuff they do and see what Jagex could have done to sailing in a sort of old school way.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what Sea of Thieves is, but I wonder if the JMods at all like took inspiration.
Surely they did.
Sure, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, dang. Pawz. It's been a pleasure chatting. I'm sure there's many other topics we could just go round and round in circles in, but I love being able to talk to the players that are sort of more pure in their scaping adventures, and I always love hearing the perspectives. And it feels like for the most part you are pretty open to like new things. Kind of, you're not very, very much like this game can never change. So I always appreciate that. But I always love the kind of grounded nature of you and others that have really stuck to like your classic grinds and have been very like, I don't know, just kind of sober with your views on the game. And I actually appreciate it. So keep up the grind, man. And best of luck getting those last. I mean, actually, I do have one other question about rune crafting. Do you have any actual XP goal with that? Like, let's imagine body tiara or body, whatever we're thinking tiaras. That method is just never viable. Like, do you think you'd actually go for a big rune crafting XP goal?
Yeah, I mean, my goal is 200 mil all. Obviously,
really.
I mean,
like that. Like, is that? I understand like the Iron Man methods of it are way worse, but I'm just thinking like, what is the second most viable when it comes to runecraft? Like, what's the XP per hour if it's not tiaras?
If you do runes, it's profitable technically, and it's like probably like what you can do is you can use more alts to boost the XP a little bit. I think you can get close to like 50k if you use a certain amount of alts, but it's not terrible. It'd just be a lot more effort than I'm willing to spend. But ideally, body talismans go down in price.
Damn, so 4,000 hours, basically. To
yeah,
I'm thinking, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. It sounds like a lot, but I'm over 60% of the way to 200 mil all, so I feel that I can do it. I just gotta stick to playing every day. That's all it comes down to.
Hell yeah, dude. Best of luck. I mean, seriously, the way you play is it's just a huge marathon. Just keep chipping away at it, and it'll eventually happen.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, Pawz. I'm gonna have your links in the description, so those wanting to check out your progress, be sure to check him out. He also is it the Free to Play podcast? Is that what it's called that you host with the Free to Play community?
Yep, it's primarily people in the Free to Play clan. Clan's just called Free to Play. But we occasionally have other people on too. But yeah.
Cool. Well, if you guys are into the podcasting, which you most certainly are, if you listen to this whole thing, go check his channel out. It's got a lot of great stuff. And Pawz, thank you once again for coming on today.
Thank you. My pleasure. It's been a good time.
All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.